Cheerio, bonjour. So I spent the day listening and watching to the Sarah Boone trial. I didn't miss a moment. When the judge recessed for lunch, he said, well, we'll return at 2 o'clock. I was still on my mail route. And my goodness, if I didn't set my alarm for 2 o'clock, I think they were a few minutes late. But I just thought about this. I say bonjour. One of my customers is from France. He lives here now. But they just were away, and they brought us back a whole case of French Pinot Noir. How kind is that? And it's fantastic. Excellent. Okay. The trial was great. I have this down here later, but excuse me a moment. I will say, why was Brian Boone just on and right off the stand? And I understand he's subject to recall, which means they can bring him back. And they're paying for all his travel. They're paying for his hotel. And I almost guarantee they've told him, you need to stay here for 10 days. And so he's staying for 10 days in a hotel at their expense. Because Brian and the son have relocated back to Gainesville. Now, Brian is from Gainesville. However, on the day George's body was found, Brian was able to call his mother to pick the boy up from school. So at some point, excuse me, my goodness, and I'm only drinking water. At some point, Brian's parents lived in Orlando or Winter Park. In that initial interrogation or interview with the police, Brian states, I want to move back, but I wanted the boy to have consistency. So, Brian bought Sarah out of the house. I have not done any research, and maybe I will to find out. I should make a note. House value. My guess, they were together 15 or 18 years, 1998, and they were together almost 20 years. I guess they're divorced, so it's 17 years total. It's funny, though. Sarah was with George 3.5 years at the date of the murder, but she'd only been divorced 2.5 years. And I'm teasing. They were separated. I'm sure everything was kosher. I honestly... I was shocked that... Did you guys hear that? Oh my goodness. I was shocked that Brian was on the stand for 4 minutes. In the interview, that first day, he tells, that gorgeous police officer, Rodriguez, Deputy Rodriguez, who testified today. Sorry, I just heard another ow. That often Sarah would get drunk and then get angry. And he wouldn't be surprised if most of the time George was arrested was because he was simply defending himself. So why wasn't that elicited from the prosecution today? That Dave Canchuy guy, whatever, the guy who wore the yellow suit, or pale suit today, he's the only one I've seen until this last week when I've seen this Mr. J guy. And I think Mr. J's better. I don't like that he rests his glasses up on his little bald head like that. Oh, yeah. This isn't very nice of me, but you guys know I'm not very nice. Who stole Sarah's chin? What the hell happened to her chin? I'm watching the video today and the photos. They're showing the photos of her body to prove she has no injuries, 0 bruises, nothing. Yet George is beaten to almost a pulp. And I'm looking at her, I'm like, oh, she has a chin then. Gain 80 pounds and you lose a chin. Okay. When I say this, I'm obviously being sarcastic. To me, if I were the prosecutor, I would have given my opening statement. The defense would have given their opening statements. And then I would have said, here's a video to show you. Played the video. Oh, and here's one from 11 minutes later. Please note the suitcase is in a different position. And also note all the roll marks on that horrendously filthy carpet. So you can see she really messed with him. Then they play those 2 videos, and then the prosecution says, case closed. To me, that's all you need. If you're going to murder someone, do not videotape it. Oh my goodness. So I paid attention to a lot of the chat today. I was on, I believe, Law and Crime. There was another network that was showing it live, but they weren't allowing comments. People are complaining, a 3-week trial, 3 weeks. I think the judge only made it 3 weeks because at that point he thought she was going to be pro se, and she's going to need extra time. I mean, thank goodness she's not pro se. It would have almost been appealed, almost automatically an appeal. Hey, you guys, here's Lucy. Oh no, she's running away. I'll show her to you when she's about 4 months old now. She's still pooping in the house. You know, I'm trying to explain to her, ladies don't poop in the house, but I poop in the house. So she's not really getting it. Lucy, my friends would like to see you. Let's see if you can see her. Can you see her? No, I don't know. Okay. I don't think the trial's going to be that long at all. I believe that I was really surprised at how many witnesses the prosecution went through today. I found it comical when the defense is trying to, jab the handyman at her apartment complex, and he's not taking it. Not at all. I believe that Sarah is writing most of her questions. You know what? This is one of my points, so I may as well just get to it right now. What the hell is she writing? In the evidentiary hearing, she's just... In her hearing the other day, constant... Is she writing her memoirs? I mean, my goodness. Or she's writing her book so that she can say, I was acquitted. It's hard to even say that without laughing. She will not be acquitted. I've already said, I can't believe she turned down the plea deal. She would be out in just about 6 years. I think it was, I went to the Florida Department of Corrections. I did all the math. I think it was 6 years and 3 days. She would be released. And she would still have a chance at life. She would be, 53 years? She's still, what the heck? Oh, as for the alimony, Brian is still paying her $1,000 a month alimony. However, it's going into an escrow account. So if she's acquitted, she's going to get a nice big, check for $5,000 plus interest, or $4,800, whatever, $1,000 a month for 4.5 years. But if she's convicted, Brian will get all of that money back. And I'm glad that Brian moved, because that wasn't fair to his son. In one of the early phone calls, she'd been in jail 2 or 3 months. The son, sorry, I almost just said his name, is saying, my friends are calling you a murderer. And she's angry with him at this. What? I guarantee he's being bullied. And she does not seem to have any empathy for that. Well, she didn't have any empathy for George. They're showing the video, and she looks and says, your battery's dying. She was more focused on that. Something else that... Okay, I think the interrogation was horrendous. At one point, Sarah states, I thought I would give him 5 minutes. And Scott, the idiot wearing the gun and dressed like the guy from Law and Order, says, 5 minutes for what? Oh, okay. So at this point, both cops just shut up. You've asked her a question. What did you give him 5 minutes for? But what does Chelsea do while she's picking the lint off her pants? Well, actually, you gave him 11 minutes. Chelsea disliked Sarah so much, Chelsea really ruined the interrogation. Scott wasn't nearly as bad. He would ask questions. How they both interrupted her constantly. Let her speak. Here, I'll do her. My goodness. Oh yeah. So I told you when I wasn't on my mail route, I was on my computer doing the chat, because you're able to tag people and respond to questions and things. And at one point everyone's like, I'm going to get a snack. I'm going to get a Pop-Tart. I'm going to go get 4 peppermints. The audacity of her. She's already been treated so extra special, but that she wants snacks? So I did look it up, and I couldn't find a definitive answer. But in Orange County, it appears if you're in trial, you get a brown bag. It's a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, 2 cookies, half of an orange, and a bag of milk. How do you drink a bag of milk? I don't drink milk at all. Man, I'd die of thirst if I ever put my man in a suitcase and leave him overnight and he dies, and you guys are watching my trial, please write letters and say, Meredith does not drink milk. At least give her water. And I prefer really cold water. I mean, I have 2. I run these. I have 1 upstairs, 1 downstairs. I swap them all the time. I like cold water. I mean, I drink an entire one of those throughout the evening or throughout the middle of the night. I wake up, have a sip, put it down. I do it, not even realizing. Okay, so this is just back to her food. When John Gotti was on trial, he was on trial, 4 times in a row for 4 years or something. What was his name? Bruce Cutler was his attorney. Gotti ended up having a catered lunch sent to the courthouse every day. And in the beginning, the prosecutors in the very beginning, they were hiding it. So it took about a week. I'm not positive. Gotti's trials lasted months, 8 months and stuff. The first week or so, they hid it. They kept the catering away until the prosecution left for lunch. Within about 2 weeks or so, the caterers were walking in as the prosecutors were walking out. Within 2 weeks of that, the prosecutors were having lunch. I don't know what made me... Well, I know what made me think of it. Her whining about it. About not getting her snacks. I will tell you something. She looks exhausted. She really does. I'm not being... You shouldn't comment on someone's appearance. Someone stole her chin. Her chin is 100% gone. And I do not realize how I didn't notice that prior. Her attorney stated that they wake her up at 2 in the morning on a court day. 2 in the morning, and she's not returned until 9 p.m. that night, to her home, the Orange County Detention Center. Okay. Tim Jansen, he represented Brian Williams in the Mike Williams, Denise Williams murder case. He's on Surviving Survivor. Messed up a little bit there. So Tim Jansen said he doesn't believe that whatsoever. Now, Tim Jansen's in Tallahassee, Leon County. This is Orlando, Orange County. But I do know that they wake them up around 3:30 in the morning. Okay, my little cat Bart just showed up. So in the fall and the winter, we put these heated pads on our chairs outside. And I wake up in the morning and come outside, and I've got a cat on every pad. I mean, Floyd's all stretched out. It's awesome. Here's the best part. We bought these heated pads for the dogs, and they liked them so much. I was like, I'm going to put this on my bench because I sit on a bench. My man sits on a chair. So he has his individual one, and I have my double one. But I think we're going to buy new ones for the dogs because it's been a couple years. We're starting to feel guilty. Anyway, Tim Jansen said he does not believe that. She probably is being awakened around 4 in the morning. She's got to go over to court. Court's at 9. But Tim Jansen believes she has a special escort. She's not riding on the main prison bus, or the court bus. He said now she may in the morning be riding with all the rest of the inmates. But in the evenings, she comes back, she changes her clothes, and he said she's specially escorted directly back. So there's just more drama. And then, I think I've already said lastly a couple times now, but, Sarah's running this case. She's telling her attorney, Owens, what to say. And it was either today or yesterday. He said, it had to have been yesterday, because they were talking about the evidentiary list, all the people they're going to call. And Owens, for the most part, said, there are a lot of people on this list that my client would like me to call, but I'm not going to do that. I mean, how is he dealing with this? And she's going to pay him $50 a week at 17 cents an hour? Come on now. The whole thing's ridiculous. Please let me know what you think about this. But if you watched or listened to the trial today, I'm curious if I'm the only loser out here. Now, I know I'm not, because at one point there were 12,000 people, watching this. And I think I watched it on Law and Crime. Okay, if you're still watching, I'm completely humbled. Hit like, hit subscribe. God bless you. And oh my goodness, God bless this America. Make sure you go vote. This is a very important election. Take care.